dream a little secret. Then we get to sneak in.
Hey, hey, hey! Welcome to our first official episode of our podcast. It's your girl, Jake Eli, and I'm here with... Okay, so we are finally launching our podcast. We've been talking about it since what? Last year?
Since last year.
Summer.
I'd say about 6 months. Yeah,
it's been a long time coming. But we're finally here. You know, we're gonna give a little bit of everything. We want to talk about music, politics, you name it. I'm like, it's too many things to talk about right now. Yeah. But seriously, we want to talk about different things and just provide our different perspectives. You know, we both have different experiences in life, and who better to bring it to you raw than us?
Yeah.
Okay. So on today's episode, we're going to be talking a little bit about our history artistically and how we met each other, how we formed our friendship, and how it grew into our creative partnership. And just give you a little bit more of that. We're celebrating the anniversary of his single.
Yes, 1 year ago, we released Comfortable. Best single I've ever released.
Go stream that.
Go stream it.
Right now.
It's been out. So definitely go stream that.
Okay. What other better way to start than just giving a little bit of background on, you know, how we got into making music, like what kind of inspired us and what drove us creatively, you know, touching on a little bit on that. So you want to tell them about like how you got started?
Yeah.
Because you started making music before me.
So I started recording music in 2020. I started recording during the pandemic. Yes. You know, we were all out of a job, and I was like, basically, I want to do something. Yeah, I want to do something that's for me. So. Music, finding the studio, the producer, everything. It just happened organically, and it's just.
So how was that though? Like, how was your journey? Because I do feel like for a lot of artists and people that get started with making music, that's their number one question is like, how do I start recording? How do I? So what was your process with like finding a producer and engineer?
Google.
Google me, baby.
Google
no,
that
seriously,
shit. Like,
really?
It's that simple. Like,
so you went old school with it?
Yeah, because you know, for like a long time, like being a singer, I always thought like, oh, I need to have a Fantasia moment. I need to go on a singing show, and I did that. I auditioned for stuff like that, but I never knew that like, no, you have the power to do it yourself. So literally, just Google, found the Nerd Studio, and just been up from there.
I was about to say it, but.
Yes, Brightway Studios.
Yeah, shout out to Brightway Studios.
We are artists of basically.
Yeah, we are. That's crazy. Yeah. That's so crazy to say it out loud.
Nate Lanzino, our producer.
Shout out to Nate. Yes, he produced and engineered Comfortable.
He produced
all his music. You talked like a little bit about your journey. I guess I'll share a little bit of mine. So I started.
I feel like you recorded in 2020 as well, right?
Nah,
Drifting?
Nah, that was 2021.
Okay.
Yeah, that was 2021. Yeah. So I recorded my first single in 2021, and I released it in 2021 too. It just time is going by fast. But yeah, I was like down bad, child. I ain't had nowhere to go. I ain't had no car. I crashed my car. I was living with my grandmama. I ain't had nothing to do. So I was like, you know what? Got on YouTube, started finding some beats, found a beat.
That's the process in the beginning.
That is. I think everybody starts with YouTube.
You be like, let me find some beats. Let me write to it. And then you just switch to this like space where it's just like, no, I want to make it from scratch. I want to
You inspired me with that, with wanting to like make music from scratch. And what we're referring to was like you said, I went to YouTube, found a beat, I wrote to that beat, recorded it in my brother's bedroom, and then I sent it off to get it mastered, and boom, that was Drifting. Which was a great first single. But after you, like once you grow on your creative process, and as you grow into your artistry, you start to take it more seriously, and you want to work from the ground up. Like I was tired of the YouTube beats, because it's also harder to record to that, which you showed me.
Also with the beats off YouTube and stuff off online, there's stems and stuff that you have to purchase, and sometimes when you're creating a record and you have a beat offline and you don't have the actual stems for it, you can't really modify that beat. You can't really do it.
You don't have as much creative freedom to kind of tweak that beat.
That's what happened with me on one of my songs.
The new one.
and
on
I just
my
had
favorite.
to remake the entire song because I didn't own the stems. So.
Yeah, and that's like, that sucks. That really sucks. You don't want to put yourself through that. So
Yeah.
now where I am, which I guess we're about to get into or whatever, but we'll touch on more of that later. But now where I am is no more YouTube beats.
Yeah.
We starting from scratch. We're building a beat out from scratch.
Definitely, yeah.
So then 2022, Kevin was like, yeah, I'm working on this song and I want you to be a feature on it. I'm like, me?
Was that 2022?
That was
2021?
2022. That was 2022, child. 2023 was last year.
Oh, shit.
Time is moving. I'm trying to tell y'all. Time is moving. Cracks open the drinks.
Cheers.
Cheers. No, seriously though. But 2022, it was like around November. Kevin had hit me up and was like, girl, I'm working on this song. A little tea. Me and Kevin met each other working at Cheesecake Factory. Back in the day.
Yes, back in the day.
Back in the day. Toast. And so I don't remember, but he told me when we worked together at Cheesecake Factory that he wanted to make music with me. Keep in mind, this was like years before we actually collaborated. Yeah. So fast forwarding to 2022, Kevin reaches out and he's like, yeah, we're friends at this point, though. We talking to each other. He's like, girl, I'm working on a song. I want you to be a feature on it. I think this will be perfect. Yeah. All he had was the beat a little bit.
I think I had a chorus. I had the chorus.
I don't even think you had the chorus. I think you did have the chorus. Yeah, you did have the chorus.
Because when I started with the beat and all that, it was just supposed to be a solo song.
Yeah.
And then after I laid down the hook in the first verse, that's when, because again, I've been mentioning that I wanted to do a record with you, and I just felt like
you did.
It was one of those moments where it was just
he kept his promise.
Yeah, it was one of those moments where it was just like so organic, and I just felt like that second verse you just needed to fill, and you was perfect with it.
I tried a little something, it worked. Yeah. But what I liked is that like you told me, and I was like, yeah, let's go for it. And then what we did is we ended up, I was like, let's actually meet to discuss like our ideas and where we can take the song and where you plan on going and so we had actually came up with the whole concept of the song before he even like really went into the studio.
Yeah, that's so, yes.
Because we had, I remember, I still have the notes. Yes. We had like wrote down on my iPad, and I was like, well, I want my verse to be like the woman's perspective of a guy getting too comfortable. Yeah. And that's how I ended up writing my verse. And then we went into the studio.
That's so crazy because I forgot that.
Yeah.
I did come over your house and we like, pretty much
we brainstormed the concept of the song,
and I think at that same time we brainstormed the photo shoot idea.
Yeah, and I think we did, and I think that's what made the song so successful. Yeah. I think if we would have just went into the studio, never had working with one another, and just we probably would have wasted a little bit of Nate's time.
First time working with each other.
Yeah. Absolutely, and we went into the studio, and then I did my verse and did some ad libs because you had already went into because I didn't come to the first session. You had already did your session with Nate where you laid down your vocals for like the verses and stuff. Yeah. And then I came in and did a session with Kevin, which we'll insert some footage of that because I got some footage of that.
So like.
And then you're gonna say started getting comfortable.
Yeah. Because we switched it back.
The next line is what did he do? Okay. How should I say it?
However you want to say it. Like, how would you say it if, like, it was your friend calling you? Or, you know, if you wanted some tea, you wanted the tea on what he did, how would you say it? Like, make it spicy. Like, Jay, what'd he do? Like, or, you know, or whoever. Like, you don't even got to say Jay. You could just be like, girl, what'd he do? Or however you would say it in your authentic way.
Okay. Okay. What'd he do?
That was so Baltimore. That was so Baltimore. What'd he do? What'd he do? That was so Baltimore. I love it. We gotta love Baltimore.
Can I hear it?
We got Baltimore in his house. On a date and just leave because a person comes late, like you really fumbled the bag if that happens. That's never happened to me, but.
Is she repeating what I'm saying?
No, I'm not saying that I know. I'm just saying that there's room for her to sing something there. And then she could even like
BTS
come into like the harmonies here maybe.
You take no give, no replacement.
And then from there it was history. But I was definitely, I think Kevin's strong suit when it comes to our collaboration is he knows more of like the music business and the technicality of making music and stuff like that, where that's not really my strong suit. I would say my strong suit is more so like marketing and the visual aspects of things.
Marketing, visuals, the creative ideas, the looks, all of those things. Like, and also you're also amazing with just like lyrics and music in general. Like,
well, I'm learning.
Yeah,
from the
like
best.
in the studio, it was so easy to help guide you and direct you, because you fell into so many pockets where I'm like, oh my gosh, you can go there. Like even with like your chorus and the hook and how you like came in, and you was like, Spike, I can't do it.
Yeah, I know.
Like, it was just so it was just so good. So I enjoyed that project, and again, still waiting on like the next one.
Yeah, it was really fun, and I was very intentional about the looks, because I told him, I was like, no, we got to go all the way.
Yeah.
So much to where we connected with a local designer that I had met. Shout out to Asa. She moved. She gone though. She's South Carolina now.
Really?
Yeah, she got the fuck. Actually, I think she in North Carolina, but she doing her thing. So shout out to Asa. But she customized like outfits for us. We had like
customized the denim jacket.
Oh, it was everything.
Yes.
And then we had a photo shoot with a great photographer. Shout out to Ian. He got us together. And that just came out. It was just everything. Yeah. All we're missing now is the music video. Which will be coming soon.
Coming this year.
So hold on, but what was your actual, I want to dive more into Comfortable. So our first collaboration was his single Comfortable, in which I was a feature, but I want to just dive more into like that creative process and really what that entails. So I think that'll be helpful for like a lot of other artists out there that are trying to navigate and figure out how to approach collaborations or just artistry in general.
Well, I say with collaborations, and I, haven't collaborated with that much people, but I feel like it has to be organic. I always use that word when it comes to making music, because the best art cannot be forced. When you try to force making a song, you try to force writing a song, it don't come out that good.
No, it don't. And you can always hear it.
Yeah, and with
you can always hear it.
Collaboration, I feel like I would like to be a fan of whoever I'm trying to collaborate with. I'm a fan of you.
Same.
Anybody else I want to work with, I'm a fan of them. Yeah. And I feel like it makes making the music so much more better, because you know that artist, you know what type of strengths and where they can or can't go.
Yeah, I like that. You taught me that. You made me more mindful about who I work with on a creative level. Had to learn some lessons through that. Okay, I think we're doing good so far.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, in the cut with my twin baby daddy. So, jumping back into it. So yeah, Comfortable, I wanted to just like really talk on your inspiration behind this song. So what was your inspiration? Like what prompted? Because this writer, his pen go crazy. His pen goes crazy. God. So yeah, what was the inspiration? Share with us.
Okay, so
let's get vulnerable.
Anytime I'm making music, I'm always trying to, I have to be inspired by something. Right. And with Comfortable, I was inspired by T-Pain as far as like the beats.
Really?
The sound. Yes.
I did not know that. That is crazy. What? I'm like T-Pain. Yes. That's interesting. That's interesting. Okay.
So it started out like, stripped, no vocals, all that. It sounded like I was trying to I really just wanted to embody T-Pain.
Yeah.
And when I started listening to the finished product, I'm like, okay, I hear this old R&B sound, so that helped me get the chorus.
Okay, that makes sense.
Like, it started getting comfortable. Like, it was so easy to just
okay, I can see it. But that's not how it ended up.
What?
It didn't end up more R&B. It was more pop than R&B.
Because the T-Pain aesthetic in my mind, like the da-da-da-da.
No, I can see that. I can see that.
Yeah. So.
I would have never thought that if you didn't break it down. Okay.
And the lyrics came, once you get a chorus and a hook, I feel like the verses come so easy.
What do you think the most challenging part of writing Comfortable and just putting that project together? Like, what do you think was the biggest challenge of that project? Because I feel like each project can be challenging in its own way.
Yeah.
Especially when you're pushing yourself to get out of your comfort zone.
I feel like Comfortable, honestly, is one of the easiest projects I've done. Mainly because you're a woman. Really, like, honestly. You felt so many things in that song that, like, if you weren't on it, I probably would have struggled to finish that song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So do you think it was challenging before I got on it?
It was.
Okay, gotcha.
It
Because you
was.
didn't know where to take it.
It
But that
was.
makes sense because that spot where I came in with my verse, it was really different from the rest of the beat. So I could see that.
Yeah.
Then, like,
It just felt like I needed another perspective on that song.
Yeah.
Like I just couldn't like do the whole song with just my perspective.
Okay.
And it didn't feel like a song that needed to be so long. Like it didn't need to like we just got I love it.
Yeah. Comfortable's a vibe though. It's a vibe. It's a vibe.
So how was your
Comfortable's a
process
vibe.
like with your verse and everything?
Writing it, I really don't feel like it was hard.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like it came because we talked about it. Again, I feel like if we hadn't talked about it and brainstorm and like really discuss the concept of what you were trying to do, I feel like then it would have been hard. And then of course I had you and Nate's help, so like y'all were able to guide me vocally, which really helped. I think the hardest part for me on that project was probably like the harmonies and stuff we would do, because that was the first project for me where I feel like I really had to like learn how to use my voice, and that's challenging when you have a voice and you don't know how to use it.
So let's talk about like your first time, because I know it's not your first time being in the studio,
but that was comfortable.
In that type of environment, like
but comfortable. Okay, so like I said, drifting I did at home in my in my brother's room. I didn't really go into a studio like a professional studio for drifting. We did it at home in the at-home studio, which is just a MacBook connected to some speakers and some headphones and all of that in your mic. But no, I feel like being in the studio, it just makes you take it more seriously. I feel like I didn't want to. I was really nervous because I didn't want to waste your time or Nate's time. I didn't want to come in there. I went in like a sponge.
Oddly enough, like I'm like at the place where when I go to the studio, I low key do want to waste time. I do.
Nate, if you're watching this,
No, like,
he said it.
I want to waste
He
time
said it.
like that. But
Not
like,
me. Nah,
when I'm in the studio with Nate, per se, because I'm mostly in the studio with him. Like, just
I
me and
mean
my
that's your
producer.
guy. That's our
And
guy.
I want him to not be so like, we have to make music, we have to not waste time.
You
so,
just want to vibe.
Yeah, so
Okay.
because like I feel like when he's able to be his most creative, free self, then I can be my most creative free self and bounce off of
I agree.
And so like when we came to the studio, I didn't want us to waste time, but I also wanted you to just like feel comfortable. I wanted literally.
You wanted me to feel
Like,
comfortable making the song come. Well, I did.
Yeah.
So go.
This
achieve.
art is like it's fun.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that, and I think that's definitely a interesting point to your point. I think artists do need to keep that in mind. Like, have fun with it. Like, don't get so caught up.
The release,
Yeah.
like, that's the stressful
Shut the rollout.
The rollout, like making the music.
Ooh,
But
that's
then
a
once
whole
you get
different
like,
thing.
okay, I gotta get this mastered, I gotta get this artwork, I gotta get this copyrighted, I gotta get like that's the part where I'm just
All
like,
of the things.
I'm not into
All of
it.
Yeah, nah, fuck that. That's the part where it gets stressful when you ain't got no team for real, because like these artists at these major labels, they have someone that can work. All they literally have to do is show up and record and be ready to record the visuals and be like they have someone pulling the strings for everything, these major artists. And I think when you are a consumer of music and you aren't an artist, you really don't understand. I think that's why we hear so many people on TikTok, like you were just talking about people like on TikTok talking about Doja Cat and comparing her to Nicki Minaj. I think that's why we have so many comparisons from the outsiders, from people who aren't creating music, because they have no idea what it takes. I know for me, I won't say I didn't appreciate. I think I appreciated the artists that I like, and I appreciated music way more when I started making it, because I understood what it took to put into it. People are so quick to like judge and say something is trash or it's not this, but it's like, let's see you get in the booth. Let's see you do it.
And since I've been making music the last 4 years, I've really like, you learn to, as an artist, to not take things personal when it comes to like how people receive your music, because art is really subjective.
It is.
You know what I mean?
It's
like,
very subjective.
You could literally be the best vocalist, but if that doesn't resonate with that person that wants to hear, sexy.
Yeah, no, you're right.
It is what it is.
This is true.
Talking about like how people in your peers, when you're like an independent artist and stuff like that, receive your music, support and stuff like that. in the beginning for me, I kind of felt like I wanted everybody that knew me or followed me to automatically just like love my music and like cheer for me and repost it and this and that. But you realize like once you're a creator behind the scenes that like creating it does become lonely because not everybody respect the art form, not everybody gets the art form, and I feel like now we're at a place where people really can tell us how they feel. Like you won't tell Chris Brown how the fuck you feel about his song, but for us, they can come up to us. And
it's
be like,
really interesting because what's the Twitcher, the guy Kai,
yes.
whatever. I guess he had made a comment on Offset's album and was like, bro, it wasn't that. And someone had asked Offset how he felt.
Yeah.
And Offset, I didn't take offense to it. He said, because when you get to this point in the game, everybody's yes man.
Yeah.
No one is going to tell you that your shit is trash.
Yeah.
Everybody's just, so he said he actually respected his opinion for that. And I think that speaks volumes, like really.
Yeah.
But you are right. People are not, it's different.
Yeah.
People are definitely going to tell us how they feel. And I mean, I think it's just important to know that like any form of artistry or any form of pursuit of your dreams, there's always going to be like the naysayers.
Yes.
Like there's always going to be the
100%.
people who count you out before they even count you in.
100%.
But before we get too deep into just like what we experience as artists once you release your music, I want to dial back a little bit and just go into like what inspired you to create music as a whole. Like what was like, share a little bit of that of your story, because I think that would be important for people to know.
So for me, I've been singing since about 6 years old, I want to say. Yeah, so I've been singing for about 6 years old.
Well, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti,
It was
do.
a Monica album that got me into music, like the Boy Is Mine album. I would listen to it. The Boy Is Mine. The Boy Is Mine. Yeah, I would listen to it with my sister, and my sister, she's a powerhouse vocalist, and pretty much, from 6 years old, I didn't really like start to understand what my voice does until like 9 years old. Puberty, all and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's gonna change it a whole lot.
So my vocals were really strong by the time I was like 9, and for me, I kind of just went through middle school, high school, just knowing that like once I graduated high school, I was gonna try to pursue music somehow.
Yeah.
And again, I thought that like singing shows was it. Life happened, but for me.
Hold on, but what singing show? I know, but tell them like what.
The Voice. I auditioned for The Voice twice, and it didn't go anywhere.
It didn't go anywhere, but I think it's important. I want you to share that because I think sometimes people think that a no means no forever.
Yeah.
And like no, sometimes that no is to just push you to keep going. Like that no is a no now, but you're gonna get a yes eventually. So I just think that's important because I like that like you still continue. Like you didn't let The Voice dictate the rest of your musical journey.
Yeah, but like after not getting on The Voice, I had no idea what to do.
Like what route to take.
Yeah, I had no idea what route to
So at the time that you auditioned for The Voice, both times, were you already making music or no?
No.
Ah.
I have never.
Really?
No, I
That's
have
important
never
to know.
recorded before the year I went to record.
Yeah.
And interestingly enough, I mean, I don't want to get too deep, but like.
This is what we do want to do.
Okay.
We do want to get too deep. That's what the show is for. That's what we've been saying.
Nate Lanzino, my producer, he's the first person outside of, my person at the time, and maybe like my siblings that I sung for.
Yeah.
So it was just like, I don't know, it was different. The whole thing about making music, leading me there. I kind of felt like it's something that I've always been preparing for. I've always been writing music, always been writing poetry along the years. And like the quote I've seen on TikTok that says, when you're creating your art, when you're talking to yourself, when you're like singing in the shower, all that, that's you perfecting your art, that's you practicing. You can practice your art all the time.
There's so many different ways.
Yeah, in so many different ways. And for me, I kind of just was like doing that, and it kind of just pushed me to the studio. Like the studio was just like the only thing I needed to do to really see if like I could do this. And once I recorded Lost, which was my first single, it kind of just felt like, oh wow, I can do this.
Yeah.
And then the second
something
single
was activated.
Yeah, it was like something was activated, saved me from a lot.
I think that's true. I think every artist can speak to that moment. Like that moment you finally like create something musically, like an actual song. You're like, oh shit, that felt good. I want to feel this again. Like I want to keep feeling this. Kind of similar to you. Like both of my parents, you know, like my dad is a singer, my mom is a singer. Pretty much grew up in a musical household, so I was always around music. My dad sung in a gospel group, but he always had recording equipment, so he would just like record himself at home. And when I was young, maybe like 7, like I jumped on the mic like a little oohs and ahs. Yeah, it was like Jayla, come play around or whatever. So a lot of that, just like singing with my mom, singing with my dad, you know, not really taking it seriously at all. And then like falling in love with music, really probably by like 9, 10, that's when I really started falling in love with music. Because you know, that was the internet days. All we could do, we ain't have no social media or nothing. All we could do was connect the dial-up internet, go to LimeWire.
Connected to your actual like computer.
Yeah, went to LimeWire, and just like my mom, my dad is a real big fan of like the 60s, the 50s, like that. Yeah. So hearing like Marvin Gaye and all, you know, the old heads, Diana Ross, I'm getting all of that from my dad. And my mom, she was really into like the soulful stuff, like your Lauryn Hills, your Erykah Badu. So
Erykah Badu's your favorite artist.
Erykah Badu and Lauryn Hill are my favorite. So I think the fusion of just all that music just kind of stepped into me. And then I knew like, okay, this will be fun. I want to do it. But honestly, I didn't know how. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like I wanted to, I just never knew how it was going to work. And I think really I was always waiting for someone to kind of pour into me.
That is the thing.
I was waiting on someone to kind of teach me.
That's the thing. Like I feel like we grew up in a time where we seen that so many times. Yeah. Like the Fantasias and stuff like that. And we kind of feel like that's. But of course, times have changed.
Yeah. And that was really big though when we came up. American Idol was huge. Like the Discovery.
That's what I thought I was going to audition for. But it was done by the time we graduated high school.
Facts, it was over with.
It was done.
So yeah, I think that. And then I think once I became like a teenager, I started writing poetry. And then the poetry led to spoken word and performances. And then once I was like in college, I was like, nah. I gotta figure out a way to turn the poetry into music, but I couldn't figure it out. Like I didn't know. So I was just like playing around writing music, writing songs and stuff at home. And then eventually, fast forward to 20. Actually, I did my first song in like 2017, playing around my brother. It was trash. Yeah. It was trash. It was auto-tune? It was auto-tune. It was from auto-tune. And then I was just like,
was it a rap?
It was kind of like a rap. It was a rap. It was a rap. A lot of the songs that I did was rap though. That's crazy. Got some hating bitches, never mind your fucking business. About to end up with some stitches. That's why you broke and you bitter. And you swiping me on Twitter.
I've been for my grind. Just say promise, no more drama, so don't waste my time. Say they with me, but I know they really want my shine.
And then 2021 was officially when I just took the leap.
I love the song.
That's my baby. That's my baby.
Gotta re-release it. Yeah.
We gonna re-release it for y'all. We gonna re-release it. But no, yes. So, I think it's just important for people to kind of know like our background and where we come from. We ain't made it nowhere yet. We on this journey, and that was the whole reason of us like really starting our podcast and everything, because we wanted to share our journey and our perspective on this industry and the music business and everything, because you know a lot of people go into it blindly. And I personally feel like there's a lot of artists out here that are just not talking about this stuff. Like all of the artists is pushing their music to you.
Suffering in silence.
They literally that part. They're definitely suffering in silence.
It creates a discourse within the community of like artists, local artists, whatever. It becomes sometimes like a crab in a barrel type shit. Is that what you want to say? Like,
let's get into it.
Yeah, I mean,
let's get into it.
Yeah, that's a lot of it. But I feel like the more we create that, that's the whole thing we want to do. We want to create that platform where people can have a safe haven and come and just express themselves and talk about their creative journey, because we're still being inspired every day. We inspire each other on a daily, and it's a very consistent battle, not a consistent, but it's a consistent journey when you're taking on something like art, specifically music, specifically anything that's like an entertainment.
And it's a tough journey. Like I think the entertainment industry, I just think that's one of the toughest industries to be a part of.
There's so many holes you gotta jump.
Yeah.
Presentation, look,
colorism is
Yes.
a huge thing in the industry. Like
Yes.
that's gonna be a whole nother episode in itself. But
And even just like my experience last year watching you model and then somewhat getting into that and just seeing how even behind the scenes in that world it's like
it's
a
so
lot.
fucking vain.
Yeah.
The model industry is so vain. It's so vain. Like it's no other way. Vain as fuck.
Yeah.
Like that's all. Like I was so, I don't know, taken back. Like I kind of knew what to expect, but when you're actually in it, it's like a whole different thing to experience. Which we'll get more into like throughout our podcast, and we'll talk more about like our other creative ventures and avenues and stuff like that. But this episode, we really just wanted to focus on comfortable and like the process with that, and just like our journey as an artist and where we've come. But I do want to touch on your point. You know, it's one thing to have the idea, it's another thing to actually get in the studio and make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's talk about that rollout process.
Yeah.
Let's go into the details of that.
Yeah.
So when we say rollout, we mean like releasing a project, pushing a project out, whether it's like an album or a mixtape or a single, whatever that project is, like that process.
Yeah.
And I'm new to this. I feel
Yeah.
like I dealt with it for the first time, really, really rolling out something we're comfortable. And I guess I would say, what do you have a specific process for you when it comes to rolling out your music? Is there a specific formula or process that you use for yourself?
Well, I feel like in the beginning it was very trial and error, and I feel like it's still trial and error for me.
Yeah.
I feel like with comfortable, it was definitely precise about like how, because it was a collaborative project.
Right.
So we bounced off each other with the ideas for that, like as far as like the attire and you know it being denim and us having Asa design it and stuff like that. That was
And like the cover art.
yeah, and the cover art. That was kind of the, like I said, the more easier projects that I had. But projects before that, I was just making the cover art on my MacBook, and I kind of really didn't have, I still don't have a precise rollout, because I feel like you have to realistically have a type of fan base to cater to.
Yeah.
And I don't really have a fan base specifically to cater to. It's kind of just like to the public type shit.
Right.
And so with me, the rollouts were just like, get a cover art, you know, get a date, release it, and just hope it goes from there. But it's not really strategic.
Okay, so I'm about to say, from your experience, do you think that, like speaking to other artists, would you recommend that they take that approach where it's just like work on the cover art, push it, or do you think they should be more strategic?
Yes. I think in the beginning, yes.
Yeah.
I think in the beginning.
So in the beginning, you feel like just get it out.
Not just get it out, make sure that the art is like up to your standing, you know what I mean? But in the beginning, you're starting small. You can't worry about numbers that you don't have, you know what I mean? You can't worry about an audience that you don't have. So it's just about,
because a lot of these artists get caught up, y'all egos, y'all be thinking y'all bigger than what y'all really are.
yeah, like realistically.
Don't nobody know you yet.
Even if
Calm
you
down.
have like 1,800 followers or 5,000 followers or whatever, half of those followers are probably people that you went to school with.
Facts.
Or whatever.
Absolutely.
So I feel like in the beginning, just worry about establishing yourself as an artist. And I feel like the way you can do that is by just like working on your art, going to the studio, making some great ass songs. Also, for artists, the best music any artist make is in the beginning of their career, because that's when you're most hungry. That's when you're most raw. That's when
you have the most freedom.
Yeah, that's when you have the most freedom.
Yeah.
So, once you get that down, then I would say then you start to formulate your business idea, and then you start to like see, okay, what type of, because you can see the analytics on TikTok and Instagram. You can see the age groups. You can see what type of audience is kind of like paying attention more than so. And then I feel like you just go from there.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think when you first starting out, I definitely agree. I think, I ain't saying put out anything, like let me just say that, because I'm a firm believer in quality over quantity, which I feel like that's what's getting lost in this time and era. It's more about quantity than it is quality, and I think that's why we're seeing so many artists fall to the wayside. They're here for a few seconds and they gone, and we don't care. It's very popcorn, microwavable artists right now, and I feel like that's like no bueno. But when you are an upcoming artist, I do agree with what you're saying, where it's like put something out and be consistent with what you're putting out. Don't put out anything, but if you're gonna put something out, make sure that you're consistent with it. Make sure that it's of quality and like, you know what I mean? Say with drifting, I feel like I didn't really put too much thought. It's kind of like you said, I just cared about the cover art and that was it. Like literally, that's all. I paid someone, a great designer by the way, who made my cover art, and I was just like, I met a woman online.
It was the butterfly photo shoot, right?
Yeah, and she did that. She
was
edited it for
very
me.
Beautiful.
Yeah, she did her thing. She did her thing.
Yeah.
Because none of that was in the background. Like it looks like I'm literally in the clouds, and I wasn't. I was in a
Could
studio.
you work with her again?
Hell yeah! I told her I wanted her to do my art.
Work with women?
No.
I don't see photographers.
No, shout out to Days.
Yeah.
They. Shout out to Days. Yeah, which is a day. I don't want to fuck it up. I'm sorry. I'm bad at the pronouns. I am, but Days, they hooked me up with my art.
Oh, we were doing the pronouns.
Yeah. And say with drifting, I feel like I didn't really put too much thought. It's kind of like you said. I just cared about the cover art, and that was it. Like literally, that's all. I paid someone, a great designer by the way, who made my cover art, and I was just like, I met a woman online.
It was the butterfly photo shoot, right?
Yeah, and she did that. She
was
edited it for
very
me.
Beautiful.
Yeah, she did her thing. She did her thing.
Yeah.
Because none of that was in the background. Like it looks like I'm literally in the clouds, and I wasn't. I was in a
Could
studio.
You work with her again?
Hell yeah! I told her I wanted her to do my art.
Work with women?
No.
I don't see photographers.
No, shout out to Days.
Yeah.
They. Shout out to Days. Yeah, which is a day. I don't want to fuck it up. I'm sorry. I'm bad at the pronouns. I am, but Days, they hooked me up with my art.
Oh, we were doing the pronouns.
Yeah.
I thought that
and they will hook you up too.
Okay.
They will hook you up too. Yeah. Probably gonna edit some of that. But yeah. With the label. When you're with the label, it's we're gonna market this post, you're gonna have this, we're gonna put this up there.
You're gonna be on
it's
TikTok,
a whole
Jimmy
thing.
Fallon.
Yeah, like it's strategic. And that's why they're able to chart and do these numbers, because it's all strategic. When you're an artist solo, all you think, I just need somebody to hear it. I just want to put it out. Yes. And a lot of times I see people fumble music that way. I know artists, who I see, they dropping stuff back to back to back. Nobody's fucking listening.
Yeah, and I think that's why I haven't been just dropping, because
I think it's a good thing.
It was like I was just dropping, and I'm proud of that. Like, because I was concise about what I wanted to do. I wanted to make a point. I can fucking do this.
Right.
And now
you made that point.
Yeah, and now it's just like, okay, now I'm doing this, but I'm being precise about it. I'm being intentional about what I put out and when I put it out, etc.
Yeah, and I think intentionality goes far, especially when you talk about, as an artist, you are a brand, and I don't think a lot of people realize that. But as an artist, you are a brand, and you have to be very intentional about the type of music you put out, because people will box you into a category. Let's use Sexy Red for an example. If Sexy Red wanted to be an R&B artist, you know how fucking hard it's gonna be hard for her to switch over. And not saying she can't do it, because it's very possible, but it's gonna take a lot of strategic and intentionality, because you kind of just keep that in mind.
And then like, because you're talking about, I don't know, but this just popped in my head, but like Ari Lennox was just talking about her experience going to Broadway.
Oh, I saw that.
And just seeing how like how
they treated her
received at his show.
And I just want to know, who the fuck was the tour manager? Like, who put that tour together? Who said, let's get Ari on a...
That's
really?
What I'm saying. She should have been with Chloe. She should have been with Coco Jones.
Summer Walker. Like, what are we doing?
And she should not be opening.
She should not be opening.
Fucking
not for Broadway.
No,
baby.
she should be doing her own show.
Yeah, she should. She should have somebody opening for Ari.
Put
some fucking respect on her name. Like, that's just crazy.
I have to sit up for that, because it's Ari Lennox.
Yeah, no, that just made me mad. Because I'm just like, why would you have her open up for Rod Wave? Like, come on, dude. I love Rod Wave. Oh, no, nothing against that man.
I said his music was weird. She said the vibes was demonic. I said his music was weird.
She said she was saying affirmations to the crowd, and people were just like,
they didn't want to see that.
Yeah, because I mean, he making depressing music, and his fan base likes that. They like to cry. And
I told you his music was depressing.
I mean, in a nutshell, it is. I feel like I'm a Broadway fan, and I know the songs out there. Depressed. But the melodies and the tones, they are very low, very, we can't negate that. Yeah. We can't negate that at all. At all. Okay, so Moving on, I want to talk about like after you roll out an album, okay, you're in it now. Let's say you're a new artist, you created a project, maybe you've collaborated, maybe you've done it solo, maybe you've rolled it out, you've been strategic. Okay, now you rolled it out and your music is not getting received in a way that you thought it would.
Mm-hmm. That's been a lot of times.
Right, so I want to speak to that.
I'm sure, like,
speak to your, like, how do you handle that? Because all artists deal with it differently. I've been ranting about that for the last year.
Child, all you can do is get better. All you can do is do it again and try to make every moment better. That's all I can say. I mean, the reality is, there's levels of being an independent artist. There's being an independent artist that's where you're simply independent, nobody's funding you, you're getting your coin from your 9 to 5. There's being an independent artist where you have money, you have resources, you're just not choosing to be with a label. There's being an independent artist where you're like a Tiana Taylor. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. There's so many levels to it, but for me and most artists here in the DMV, we're independent. So you have to be real with like, okay, yes, we are artists, this and that. Yeah. But the audience, it's not going to be like, it's not going to be an audience like somebody that's signed to Atlantic Records. Agreed. You know what I mean? Like, it's not going to be that.
And that's where I feel like that brand building comes in, and why I speak to like social media so much and like build a brand.
But people.
Because building that brand is a part of what builds your fan base.
Isn't what we think it is, though. It's no thing of just going just viral.
Well, no, not anymore. I think that's the thing. I think a lot of artists,
chicks, like, they didn't just go just viral. That was like being set up.
Agreed. I mean? And that's where I feel like, that's what I'm saying. That's where I feel like the social media marketing comes in and building your brand. They go hand in hand. So this is my expertise. Graduated from the University of Baltimore with a bachelor's degree in digital communication and public relations. So your girl know all about it. But no, seriously, because I see this a lot with artists where it's like, okay, but you don't give a fuck about your look. Like it all ties in together. You gotta have the look, you gotta have the talent, you gotta have the drive, the consistency. You can't just put out a song and then not have the look or be consistent. And so also, people, I think they should think about that.
Also,
think about your brand.
You're not
as an artist.
I don't know. I don't want to be like whatever, but I feel like you're not going to simply get whatever you're looking for. Simply just staying, not moving from your hometown, but you have to travel somehow. You have to like
get out of your environment.
Yeah, you gotta get out of your environment. You have to travel somehow, start booking shows in other states, whatever you need to do.
Facts.
Because that's how your name starts to make noise.
Agreed. Yeah. I definitely agree. So I've always been like a creative. I've always done creative things. I have changed my brand a lot. Like I went from just being like a content creator to being a model to being an artist. To being an artist to being a model. And I feel like every time I kind of level up creatively, I'm like taken aback when people don't support me. I'm like, my music got better and they're hating. Yeah. So I talked to Kevin about this a lot last year. I felt like 2023 for me, I dropped another single, which was Circles, which we can get into later. But upon dropping that, I felt like it just wasn't as received as much as my first single was. Like my first single was received.
It's always the first single.
So like everybody was sharing it and all of this, but this is the crazy part, is that the first single, the quality was ass compared to my second single. The second single, I mean, I'm telling you, studio quality. Like
I still like listen to Lost. I mean, I appreciate it because it's my first single, but I'm like, you rushed that song. Yes, you rushed that song. But it was shared the most, like literally.
So that's what I want to say is like, as an artist, I think that I tell you this, that's something that I was not prepared for. 2023, I had so many just like, just moments where I was just so mad and frustrated because I was not prepared for the switch up from family, from friends, from associates. And we talked about a lot of this moving into 2024, like cleaning up our followers, removing certain people, all that to say, which was shocked. I was shocked. I didn't know what to expect. I noticed that the more I started posting my music, the more I started sharing my music, the more I started sharing my artistry, period. The more story views I got, the less likes I got. the less engagement, the less comments.
I think for me, it started to like hurt when I seen it from family.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
the family members was. I don't give about y'all, the foes, the people. I don't care about y'all. But when I saw my family, like, you'll go post another artist, but you won't post my stuff.
That's be the part that get me. Like,
make it make sense.
How the fuck you posting somebody that don't know you?
You don't know them, and they don't know you.
They will never see your post. Let me stop.
Okay, no, but like, let's be for real. We need to talk about this. And in our private conversations, we have discussed this a lot. But like, there's how I felt sad. Like a bitch wanted to cry. I did cry because
and you grew up with me.
Yeah, because you feel hurt by that. Like it is.
I clearly still feel the way.
Yeah, I do too.
Cause like y'all was my cousins.
Supposed to be my cousins, my aunts, my uncles.
But it's
We ain't
all,
gonna get to
it's all love and.
Is it? Don't lie. Don't lie.
It is.
No, it is though. It is all love, but it's just from a distance. Babe. It's from a distance. Stay over there.
Because it's like I really don't need you to like my shit. It's
And when we on tour, don't be trying to get no tickets. None of that. Like, no, it really is a switch up. Even to the modeling thing. Like, we both walked in New York Fashion Week.
The modeling thing was such a dumb.
Y'all want to post all of these people y'all know at New York Fashion Week, all these celebrities, but y'all could
have came.
But y'all own people there.
Yeah, like,
and you don't want to come out and support. Like, so let's talk about that.
Fashion show. Are we about to let them know?
Yeah.
Y'all should have came to the motherfucking fashion show.
You should have.
In New York, we had a ball, but we
had a
stand
time
for each other.
We had a time. We did, and we always gonna support each other. Like, we're always gonna have each other back, and we discussed that.
Yeah.
But no, seriously, I just think that's important for artists to know. We talked about a lot of this transition in 2024. He deleted so many of his followers, blocked them. Don't care if you're a cousin. Don't care if you're a coworker, family. If you're not here to engage with my content as an artist, as a model, as a creator, if you're just here to watch, blocked, delete it. And I think it's important for a lot of artists to know that, because that's something that I was really like battling with. Like, damn, I don't want to just, unfollow it. But it's like, fuck it. If they're not supporting what your brand is promoting, you need to unfollow those people. It don't mean you gotta say fuck them in real life. You know what I mean? You don't gotta do all of that.
Also,
but just keep your distance and cultivate a community online of real
the artists
supporters
that come around and try and fake like you fuck with me, but don't really.
Let's get into it though. But
like,
instead of addressing them, let's explain that, because let's speak to that.
Don't address directly.
No, you can address it, but I'm just saying, let's speak to that, like that experience. Share what that looks like, because they don't know. Some of these people ain't artists.
From my experience, I've had, people that follow me on Instagram,
right,
in the city that do music too.
Yeah.
Say they fuck with the kid. Say they want to make music with the kid. They want to be friends with the kid.
They always do.
And whenever it comes to actually like engaging, actually meeting up, actually talking about the collaboration that you so quote unquote want to do, it's never there. It's always giving, I want you to like be in my atmosphere, but I really just want to watch.
Mm-hmm.
So they're blocked.
And even to that, I feel like personally, I think like Kevin really opened up my world to like working with another artist on a music level, because I feel like you showed me the professional way to do it.
Yeah.
Like, no, we're gonna go in here with the producer, we're gonna have a session where we chop it up, we're gonna work on this beat, we're gonna figure out what we want it to sound like instrument wise, we're gonna come back, have another session, we're gonna put the vocals down, then we're gonna marinate that. Like you, versus what I've had with artists, it's like, oh, I found a beat on YouTube, let's go record real quick and then send it to get it mixed. No, I'm not doing that, because that's not the same work and intention into a project. You want to do a project, like you said, let's make it make sense. So that's something that Kevin really helped me out with.
And with collaborating, I don't know, like I feel like for me, I wanted to always be that way, but I know that like realistically, like sometimes it may be a moment where like they're sending me their verse.
Absolutely, it is gonna be some times where you just gotta send your vocals over, and that's cool. That's different. That's a whole different level.
Yeah.
Once we send them vocals, that we done made it.
Yeah.
Once we sending the vocals over, we there, because that means we getting paid for a motherfucking feature.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a different level for sure. But I think like just going into it, I think once you arrive to the world and say, hey, I'm an artist, be prepared for things to change
about,
drastically.
Like
from
standing on that though?
Yes, we will talk about standing on that. But I think just from like the perspective of, like we said, your peers are now going to look at you differently, and artists are going to look at you differently. And oftentimes, if you just start making music and that music is good, everybody gonna want to fuck with you. All the artists are going to act like they want to work with you. But it's important to have discernment, like Kevin is speaking on, and like being aware of the people who are just trying to use you for clout, let's be 100, and the people who are genuinely interested in connecting with you as an artist and working with you, because both of your art forms complement each other in a way. But yeah, so it's just pay attention to that.
Yeah,
because I've seen a lot of people that wanted to work with me and I'm not even there yet. As soon as I put out circles, everybody wanted to work with me, but where they at?
Yeah.
Where they at?
Gonna talk about standing on because you said once you make a song, you're an artist. And
Yes.
I remember when we was in the studio with Nate, me and you, we were like saying like something along the lines like, yeah, well, I'm not like a big artist, da da da. And he was like, no, you are an artist.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. We kind of downplay it.
Yeah, we kind of
We get that imposter syndrome.
That's what it is. And I think for us, still working regular jobs and stuff like that, you know what I mean? It's kind of weird when you like step away from being in that environment and then you go live your everyday life and then you jump back in that environment and then you're like, wait, like I am
an artist.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of like right now we're kind of like part-time artists. Like we're not full-time artists, but just because you're part-time don't mean you're not an artist.
Yeah.
You're still an artist.
You're
so I
still
do think
an artist
that is
even
true.
though you're part-time.
And I think I really like that you said that though, because I do think it's important to like remind yourself of that and stay in that headspace. Because if not, I do think that's when you kind of lose sight of your why. Like we talk about the why all the time. Your why is like, why are you making music? Why are you doing this thing that you are doing? Are you passionate about it? Do you love it? Remember your why, because that is going to keep you on track. And like Kevin, I was like, yeah, I think I want to take a break. I think I just want to I don't want to do music no more. Like I really was just, and for me it was because of the treatment, like the way everybody started treating me. I don't like that. Like I don't like the way people perceive me. And I think oftentimes too with being an artist is like a lot of people think, oh, they want to be artists, they just want to be famous. They just want clout.
Like,
they just want to be famous. They just want to go to Hollywood. And it's like a lot of people.
That's the response I get.
Yeah.
Even just talking about moving to LA. It's like, are you looking for fame? And it's like, no, like I just want to make money doing
what you love.
What I love.
But not even what you love. Let's dial it back even more. You want to make money doing something that God gave you a fucking talent and a purpose to do. Yeah. That is two different things. I'm not knocking anybody that woke up one day and just made a song and it went. I'm not knocking because everybody on their own path or journey. But do understand that there are a lot of people, a lot of artists, a lot of us who are out here where it's like, this was a talent. This is something God gave us to get through our everyday lives. This is something God gave us to be able to heal.
And it's about your reason for waking up, like every day. Like I don't know about, I can speak for other people, but for me, what keeps me going with creating music is just about like, okay, do I want to wake up the rest of my life doing something I love, something that I can do and reinvent and do all this up until I die and still feel like, oh my gosh, it's still not enough that I've done.
Facts.
Or do I want to wake up every day just for a financial purpose? And I feel like sometimes that's a lot of the choices that I'm like
what reason are you in?
Yeah, like do I want to go through my life living just for the sole purpose of financial security, quote unquote, meaning like, do I want to stay at this comfortable job? Do I want to, settle in this career that I may not love at all, but guess what? It's paying me. Or do I want to go and pursue something that I know I love, something that drives me, something that I'm passionate about, but it's not coming with an attached salary right along with it. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's about knowing your why. And I feel like once you know your why, it makes it more clear for you to pursue what you're trying to pursue.
Agreed. Absolutely. 100%. So you got to sit with yourself and ask yourself what that is for you. Yeah. What does that mean? And I also think that like, once you figure out your why, it don't matter to nobody else. Like that's your why. That's not for nobody else. They don't need to know your why. It don't matter to them. And I think that's really important as you move forward and navigate on your journey, because as you navigate this journey of being an artist and becoming an artist and getting to wherever you want to be on your artistic level, you have to understand that people are not going to understand it.
They're not.
They're not going to understand your
family
vision.
members won't understand it.
They're not going to get it.
Yes.
They're going to think you crazy, you delusional.
You're wasting your time.
You know what I mean?
Like it's just crazy, and they're always gonna think in their mind, especially because art come in many forms. There's people that are painters. There's people that are book writers, whatever you want to do. But as it pertains to making music, they're always gonna think in their mind, that you're looking for fame.
Yeah.
And fame is one of those things. Again,
I think with any entertainment thing, like even
it's
with modeling,
subjective. It's relative. Like not everybody in the world know who Sexy Red is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Majority does, but there's a pocket of people in the world that don't. So I think it's all about, who's into that genre, who's into that, whatever it is that you're doing. And I feel like, there's a fan base for everybody.
I think so too. I think there's a fan base for everyone. And you just gotta, like you said, know your why, stay focused, keep these things in mind, and don't lose track of it. I feel like if you stay focused on yourself and stay in your lane, I think a lot of people mess up with that as well. It's like dipping into another artist's lane or thinking, oh, well, that's working for them, so I need to go do that. No, don't. You need to find what works for you and stick to that. Just stick to that. Master your lane first, and then maybe you can dip into some other things. But I think that's the advice I would give, because I see that a lot. Like, everybody is trying to be like the next artist or feel like you got to do what the next person is doing.
I mean, rap. We've been rapping. And rap is it's definitely not
rap
as
ain't
easy.
Our bag.
It's not as I love spitting some shit.
It's fun though.
It's fun talking your
it's
shit
fun.
in rap form, but it's not as easy as everybody would expect.
No, it's very challenging.
It's challenging.
It's very challenging
to step into that zone, to get your rap voice alone, to have that bass, to have that conviction, to have that. Rap to me is so powerful because
it is.
When you're singing, I can sing you a melody, I can make you feel a way, right? But when you're rapping, it's like, no, you get to say the shit that like you can't sing about. You know what I mean? Like, you couldn't
sing this unless you be. unless you're the queen bee, because she's the best at doing it.
That's the queen of rap, right?
I was thinking Beyonce because we were talking about singing. I said queen bee. You said the queen of rap.
The queen of rap.
Oh, really? Okay, I love that. I thought we were talking about the other queen, the real queen, the actual queen of rap. That's what I thought we were talking about. But so I mean, this has been good. I think this was a great first episode. I feel like we could go on forever and ever. And ever and ever and ever. Yes. But I think this is a great first start, just like introducing ourselves to you all and to the world in a little bit of our stories.
We're going to have more conversations because
we are outside of music, not just about music.
Starting to get comfortable. This should be called comfortable. This episode.
Maybe the podcast.
Comfortable.
Yeah, like getting comfortable. Well, let's get comfortable.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. I think we're feeling the vibe.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, shit. I'm like, we touched on everything, right? Ain't nothing. Do we need to touch on anything?
We touched on everything.
We talked about our music singles. I didn't really talk about stuff, but we'll say that for another. We can't get you too much. We gotta bring you back. And it's baddies, shot.
Yes, it's Baddie Sunday, so
we about to watch baddies.
We should
do a baddies
episode.
We might film 2 episodes in one day.
Yes, are we?
We could.
Yes,
we could. Get it rolling out and talk about this episode and do like a review.
Yes.
Okay, I think we are. Well, it's been real. I'm so happy to start this journey with my lovely best friend, my talented best friend. Yes. He's so talented. I keep telling him
She's talented as well.
I am too, but I cannot wait for the world to truly see the Kevin that I know and just what he's capable of, his talent, his story. Y'all about to see him very soon in Hollywood. The wood of Holly, but nah, seriously, I'm just really excited for this journey and to just continue to share our perspectives and like have real conversations with you all about things. You know what I mean? I feel like all people want to talk about.
Believe it or not, we have hella opinions.
We do. We have so many opinions, and they different from each other on a lot of things.
Yes.
But yeah, I feel like everybody want to talk about splitting bills and shit. We over that. we passed that. We don't care about that no more. There's a lot more realer things, deeper things to discuss. So, yeah. We're gonna give it to y'all. So you better be ready to dig deep. Very deep. Well, I mean, that's it. Shit.
Yeah, that's
sayonara, hoes. Deuces.
Hasta la Vigo.
Hasta la Vigo.
I don't know.
Baby.
Adios.
Oh, hasta luego.
Hasta luego.
Hasta luego, baby.
Probably
But yeah, stay tuned. Make sure that you like, share, and comment on our podcast. Make sure that you subscribe to our podcast. And we'll see y'all very, very soon with another episode
of J. Eli and K. Bonet. We're gonna find a title.
Yeah, we don't know what it is yet. we being raw with y'all, like, you know what I mean? Everybody be trying to act like y'all got this shit all together.
Yeah,
they don't be having that shit
wanted
together.
To like just give you guys what we're going to be giving you guys in the future.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Raw, authentic conversations. That's
the
what
podcast is gonna build.
We'll have guests.
A song, like a soundtrack song or something.
Yeah, we got this.
You know,
we about to be
titles.
We definitely need a podcast song.
Yeah, we are.
We need it.
We are.
It's gonna be comfortable.
It's gonna be something.
You wanted to do a remix?
Yeah, but for the podcast song, it's gonna be like.
Oh no, it's gonna be different. Yeah, that's gonna be way different. That's gonna be yeah. But so that's it. We done? I see ya. Wouldn't wanna be ya.
Tell me why this nigga got me fucked up.
What'd he do now?
He started getting way too comfortable.
You started getting comfortable. It's time I gotta let you know. The feels when you take no give, no replay shit. Let's move on from this. You started getting comfortable. Guess it's just time I gotta let you go, let you go. Hopped in the DMs, became a little secret. Then we get to sneaking. Next day we freaking. Rolling weed,
Blowing trees,
go with the flow with me.
Three's company. Come spend the day with me. That's what you say to me.
But now I'm free. You're lost in your own world, don't forget that part. It's like we're chasing the pavements, baby, in my heart. But you're playing games, ain't you? I thought our love was the same, but it ain't true. You started getting comfortable.
You were sleeping on me.
It's time I gotta let you know.
Now look who's lonely.
The feels when you take no give, no replay shit. Let's move on from this.
Gotta move on. Swipe right cause you look fine. I wanted to make you mine. Said you wasn't looking for a relationship, but neither was I. I should've never lied. When we went on our first date, you showed up so late. I didn't even stay. Felt like I got played, and I don't know what changed. Just know it'll never be the same. And I ain't the one to blame.
Hopped in the DMs, became a little secret. Then we get to sneaking. Next day we freaking. Rolling weed,
Blowing trees,
go with the flow with me.
Three's company.
Live complete.
Come spend the day with me. That's what you say to me.
But now I'm free.
You're lost in your own world, don't forget that part.
It's like we're chasing the pavements, baby, in my heart.
You're playing games,
Ain't you? I thought our love was the same.